55, just outside of San Francisco in this little place called San Mateo. Staying here for last night and then tonight, and then tomorrow should be the last day of this trip. So today is a light day. We only did, or I'm only going to do about 5 miles, 5.1 to make up the difference for the deficit from the past couple days. And then tomorrow will be the big 27-mile day, and that's going to be converted into a running marathon, hopefully, if all goes well. I'm going to try to pre-hydrate myself today by drinking a lot of water. And as far as food and stuff goes, it's kind of a strange day. It's Good Friday, so there's fasting and no meat kind of rule, so a little challenging, but I think I'll be okay. I made the mistake of walking into a grocery store on an empty stomach. I mean, I didn't buy anything, but everything looked super tempting. And not only that, but I'm basically down to the last dollar. So of the budget, there's $4 remaining, $3 for backup safety when I get to San Francisco. So that leaves me with literally $1 for today. Luckily, I have some granola bars and all that other good stuff at the Airbnb, so I have enough to get by and comfortably tonight. But then tomorrow, I have to make it to the destination because everything is done, over, it's gone. No more money, no more miles, and it's just me and the Golden Gate Bridge. So overall, I think this journey has been very challenging in multiple different ways. The whole idea of restricting myself to a certain budget or a certain lifestyle has really taught me a lot about what the human body is capable of doing, not just physically in terms of walking 500 miles over 36 days or starving yourself for extended periods of time, but also what you can what luxuries in life there are that oftentimes I, for one, definitely take for granted, like just having pretty much all the food you want in the world. You just go to a shop and you buy it and you keep going. In other places of the world, people don't have that luxury of knowing when their next meal is. They don't plan their life around meal times. And then other basic things aside from food, there's water, shelter. The fact that I had to, during my time in the Big Sur area, I had to find streams and rivers to drink water from because there's just no water around. No cities, no towns. So you drink out of streams and rivers and waterfalls, which is kind of cool, and then shelter. I mean, for the most part, roughing it out in the wild, either in the rural or urban wild, it has different set of challenges. And not having a tent and choosing option to go without a tent and just living on in a tarp, basically, in various configurations, is kind of wild, but it's a kind of, humbling. And then relying on the kindness of strangers, whether it's random people I meet along the way, or churches or shelters, homeless shelters. All of that has affected my appreciation for having a roof over my head, for all the nights that I didn't have a roof, for all the nights that it was raining and I was soaking wet, it was cold. I appreciate just having a roof or having four walls, that much more. And so, I set off this journey with a backpack, a tarp, and pretty much that was it. I mean, minimal amount of clothes, some first aid stuff, but other than that, just relying on what I would call the kindness of strangers has, between all that, has gotten me through all these almost a little more than 5 weeks. So I often get the question of, did you find what you were looking for on this journey? And to be honest, I don't think there was anything I was looking for in particular, or at least not from the outset. I didn't have, I have to find the answer of life, or answer to this particular question that I was hoping to solve or think about during the whole walk and the whole journey. But I found reasons for this journey, or I found questions to ask along the way, and I feel like a lot of them, like, I have a more appreciation or understanding. I don't have all the answers. I don't know if anyone ever does, but I have a better idea of what it is I want to do, or who I want to be, and the kind of life I want to live, and how to, how I want to shape my outlook in life after a journey like this, of living on the bare minimum, and really it just comes down to realizing that there's still a lot of good in, I mean, surprisingly for me, the past couple years have been kind of challenging, and has in a sense jaded me towards humanity and my outlook in life. And I feel like a part of me was lost during that time, and given the experiences that I've had with the kindness of people throughout these 5 weeks, it's given me some of it back, and taught me some things I never realized. So and I really appreciate that. So that's it for now. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna make another video for tonight. It's a rest day, so just 5.1 or 5.5 miles, and then tomorrow will be the final big stretch. Like I said, 27 miles for a full marathon run. Hopefully, I mean, I did a run yesterday and it didn't work out too well, but that's given the fact that I had been walking/running for 22 miles and was pretty exhausted by the end of the day. And that's after 2 back-to-back, 20-mile days prior to that. So hopefully with today's day of rest and minimal mileage, tomorrow will be a more has a higher likelihood of success for a full-on marathon run to the Golden Gate Bridge, the final destination. Yeah, and then that'll be it. And then the day after will be Easter, and I'll be celebrating with some family up in San Jose. So I think that's it. I just want to do a quick shout out to everyone who's really been super supportive supportive to me throughout this whole journey. I'm probably going to forget some names to mention, but definitely family back home, especially the people who really believed in me from the initial onset. When I told them about this crazy idea of walking 500 miles with basically nothing. My older brother, my younger brother, all super supportive. Didn't try to stop me, just out of I don't know, a sense of respect, I guess, for what I was trying to accomplish. And so thank you guys for that. And then my parents for initially they were very hesitant to allow or they weren't psyched about the idea, but then my dad started turning around and being more helpful with recommendations about things to consider and equipment and whatnot. And then my mom always calling in and seeing how I'm doing. I want to give a quick shout out to other people who have made this journey possible in terms of preparing and getting all my equipment together. That would be Erica No, my advisor back at Maine Medical. Super helpful in terms of ideas, things to think about, backpackers, gear, and letting me borrow a bunch of his equipment from his West Virginia walk. I could not have made it without his equipment, his solar panel, his sleeping bag, just to name a few. And then his experiences that he shared with me about his, I guess, the way he prepared for his walk, and how he planned it out, and things to consider in terms of water filtration and shelters, and and there's a bunch of other things I borrowed from a stove, the MSR pocket rocket, which was super helpful, and the idea of using campers or backpackers meals. So that was really instrumental to the success of this journey. And then let's see, Melissa Keyport, shout out to you as well for recommending an awesome book to listen to along the way that I audiobooked. Let's see, anyone else back home? I'm sure there's tons, and my godparents, Julang and Kochan, for checking in on me periodically, making sure I'm doing okay. The Air Force for allowing me to do this. My commanding officer was more than happy to wish me well on this journey while waiting for military orders to return to active duty. Thank you, sir. And then, let's see, anyone else? And I mean, anyone else back home, everyone else back home, you guys have been great. And then people along the way, like I said, there's just so many names and so many people to thank along the way. And you know who you are, and I've mentioned your names in the past couple of videos. and most notably, I mean, I want to give a huge shout out to Tim and Renee and Chuck and Carmel. You guys have been awesome, and everyone else along the way. So that's it for now. Tomorrow's the big day. Alrighty, take care.